And now the latest on COVID-19. Health officials continue to track a new variant spreading across the country.
Yeah, community levels in Rhode Island are low right now, but the same cannot be said for other parts of the country. And Kayla Fish is in our studio. She has a message from a local doctor.
Morning, guys. Well, all 5 counties in Rhode Island are still considered to be in the low category when it comes to COVID levels. That is according to the Department of Health data, which is updated every Friday for those community levels. But nationwide, COVID levels are surging once again, driven by the new BA.5 variant, now the most dominant strain in the U.S. Health officials say BA.5 is the most transmissible COVID strain yet, and it can evade protection offered by vaccines and previous infections. Dr. Ashish Jha, White House COVID-19 response coordinator and dean of Brown University School of Public Health, says they're seeing high levels of people getting reinfected with COVID. During an appearance on ABC's This Week, Jha urged people to continue using tools to fight against severe COVID infections, like, for example, staying up to date on vaccines.
If you got your booster, let's say last November or December, you don't have as much protection against this virus as you'd like. So one of the key messages coming out of this moment is if you are 50 or over, and if you've not gotten a shot this year, in the year 2022, it is absolutely critical that you go out and get one now. It will offer a very high degree of protection.
Now, other tools to fight the spread of COVID include mask wearing. In fact, some parts of the country are warning that mask mandates could be making a comeback soon. We'll tell you more about what Dr. Jha had to say about that coming up in the next half hour. For now, live in studio, I'm Kayla Fish, 12 News.
Other news now, U.S. dealing with yet another spike in COVID cases driven by this new easily spread BA.5 variant, prompting some cities to consider returning to mask wearing indoors.
And 12 News reporter Kayla Fish is with us this morning with a look at some of the local COVID trends and what the White House is saying about possibly masking up again.
Well, guys, right now, Department of Health data shows that all of Rhode Island is considered to be in the low category when it comes to COVID-19 community levels. But all across the country, the BA.5 variant is spreading rapidly, with about 75% of Americans living in a high or medium COVID risk area. In Boston, the city reported Friday that cases have increased nearly 40% over the past 7 days. Hospitalizations also rising, up 25% over the past week. Public health officials are urging people to remain vigilant, suggesting people mask up while in crowded indoor public settings. On the West Coast, Los Angeles County is considering reinstating its indoor mask mandate by the end of this month if COVID continues to surge. Here's what White House COVID-19 response coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha had to say about his view on masks during an appearance on ABC's This Week.
Local jurisdictions, cities, counties, states should make decisions about mask mandates because communities are different. That said, CDC has very clear guidance on this as well through their COVID community levels. And the CDC recommendation is that when you're in a high zone, that sort of orange zone, as LA County is, people wearing masks indoors is really important, and it really will make a difference.
Now, Dr. Jha also urged people to stay up to date on their vaccines, including getting their boosters. RIDO data shows about 50% of Rhode Islanders ages 18 and up have gotten their booster shots. You can find more information about COVID-19 and vaccines right now by visiting our website, WPRI.com. Live in studio, I'm Kayla Fish, 12 News.